Warning! The following podcast contains strong language which some listeners may find offensive. If you do,
Up yours! That's only if you don't listen to the podcast. Otherwise, not up yours.
did you know the Untitled Wrestling Podcast is on all of the social media outlets? Give us a like, follow, share, subscribe, or even a review if you're feeling generous. Facebook and YouTube at Untitled Wrestling Podcast, Twitter, Twitch and Discord at Untitled Rest Pod.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Untitled Wrestling Podcast. It is Tuesday. You know what that means. It's me, your boy, Big Tasty, joined, as always, by Faye. How's it going, Faye?
I am good, yeah. I've just come back from a very good Wrestle Island from yesterday. That was a lot of fun.
Well, we're going to talk all about that in a bit. And I'm also joined...
Just got home from it?
Yeah, just now. My soul has finally returned to my body.
Dirty stuff out.
We're also joined by Jay. How's it going, Jay?
I'm okay. My voice may go halfway through this, but we'll find out.
Too
like a little adventure together.
Too much screaming at fascists at the brewery on Saturday, clearly.
Don't worry about it.
Right, yeah. We're going to go straight in. And we're going to talk not about wrestling, but a wrestling video game. So, the long-awaited AEW Fight Forever came out last week. I think we've all bought it, right? We all own it.
Yeah.
On various platforms.
Yep.
Me and Jay played a bit of it at the brewery on Saturday. We had a little three-match best of three series, which we won't talk about.
I think we know the more skilled player one.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I picked Chuck Taylor in the final. So I tried to give you a chance.
Wow.
I love Chuck. Yeah, I couldn't not take him. Yeah, we'll have a little chat about it because it's.
Is there a press X to say shit button, or is he not allowed to say
No,
that?
Chuck Taylor didn't get to say shit, and I'm really upset. Like, that's one of the taunts because people was yelling shit, like, but it's not. So initial impressions, I think it's a little rough around the edges, broadly speaking, but it's very fun.
Yeah,
I would say the same thing.
You can definitely tell it's like a spiritual successor to like a No Mercy game.
Yeah,
but
also between like the graphical style and like the sort of arcadey style action. I mean, you know what I'm going to say, Jay. This gives me WWE All Stars vibes.
It does, yeah.
And if you can just basically remake that game, but with AEW characters, then that's, for me, it don't get any better than that.
Yeah, you're there. Give you money.
I mean, one thing we were having a little chat about it before we started recording, Ben. I don't know if you saw Faye, Kenny Omega kind of like addressed like a guy had basically made like a thread on Twitter of like feedback and stuff like that, and Kenny Omega like was tagged in it and commented on it like more or less immediately. I was like, I really appreciate this. Like, keep giving us positive feedback and like constructive criticism so we can improve the game. We're going to be supporting it for a long time. So
yeah,
that's
really good.
Can I posit something here? Like, and with apologies to Andy Brown from Discord. Hello, Andy, if you're listening. So we're talking this game. It doesn't have an enormous amount of match types. The career mode, you can do it in like an hour or two. It's quite quick. It's got mini games. It's just like a fighting game more than a wrestling game.
It's certainly more arcadey, which is what they wanted to go for. Anyway, which was again what No Mercy was like. No Mercy. Maybe Here Comes the Pain with like the last like two wrestling games that felt like that. And then WWE games started not in a bad way, but started going a bit more towards like simulation and more realistic than the arcadey stuff. And they obviously brought out games like Battlegrounds and which was shite. And
I don't want to talk about that.
Battlegrounds was just like legalized gambling, basically, wasn't it?
But Battlegrounds was All Stars with loot boxes and not as good.
Yeah.
But they still brought out like as All Stars. Me and you, Ben, have obviously spoke about that at length before.
I do have a copy of that in the brewery ready to go as soon as I get some pads for it. So
I did see that. I've still got my PS3 copy, which I'm a PS3, so I'm always tempted to like boot it up. But yeah, it certainly feels a lot more.
It, Ben?
360.
360.
Oh, I don't have those.
Xbox, baby.
It certainly feels more like more like that kind of a game than the WWE games. I think that's why it's been so divisive, because people are comparing the two, and like I've got both. I've played WWE 2K23 quite a lot in the weeks leading up to Fight Forever. I really enjoyed that, but they're two very different games.
So a couple of things I really liked. One, the striking in it feels very, very much like the early SmackDown games, like on the PS1.
Yeah,
it's very fast. Like your strikes are really quick, which I really enjoy. Like you can use them for like intro grapples and stuff. Like, which again makes me think more of fighting games. It's more like a rock paper scissors kind of thing when you're playing.
Yeah,
like you've got to
very
think.
timing.
You've always got to think about what your opponent's going to do, because the counters are on separate buttons. So if you know they're going to try and grapple you, you can counter differently. So if you know they're going to try and hit you, it's that sort of like mental game that makes me liken it to something like a Street Fighter or a Tekken in some respects.
Yeah, and that's what, like, obviously OG No Mercy, WrestleMania 2000, Virtual Pro Wrestling, WCW versus NWO versus the World.
So what we're saying here is we're going to petition Spook to get it included in the Merseyside fighting game community next tournament.
Yeah.
Yes.
Andy from Pubs, get it done.
I might have a chance of winning some of it through sheer shithousery.
One thing I also really liked as well, obviously because it's a Ukes game, it's like the old SmackDown like stuff. So when I was playing, I instinctively, I don't even remember doing it, I instinctively pressed like right bumper on the Xbox pad R1 on the PlayStation to pick up my opponent when he was on the floor, because that's what I think it used to happen in the SmackDown games, and it worked, and I was so happy. I was like, oh my god, this is just like what I did when I was a kid. This is so cool.
You know what that's like, right? It's like when when you get Ryu in Smash Bros. All of Ryu's combos from Street Fighter, like in Smash Bros.
So you can do them with like the B button and the smash buttons, but you can also do them with the inputs, can't you, as well? Which So go on, Jay. You take it away.
I was going to say it's definitely like it. One thing I've noticed with like reviewers, so I've noticed people who are like kind of like of our generation or a bit older, who remember like the N64 games, fucking love it.
Yeah,
it's not say it's a perfect game, because it's not. It's got its flaws. It does definitely feel like it's going to be expanded on, and that it's been brought out like not in an unfinished state, but it's been brought out in like
a base state.
You can tell, a base state that you can tell is going to get expanded on, which they have already like got.
That's what sort of gives me the most hope, is that like the stuff that's good about it is like the game, the basic system, like the basis of which you wrestle each other is really fun. And if that was fucked, then it'd all be for naught. But like it's stuff like I would like a few more characters on the roster, like maybe more than one member of Dark Order, for example. And the Acclaimed have said they've just done stuff for the game. We're getting like Danhausen and Hook put in soon. That's great. I would love some more game modes. We know they're doing something about Stadium Stampede, which I'm so excited for. Apparently it's like a battle royal.
That's gotta be awful for us, isn't it? Like that's gotta be
I am not gonna win a single one, like ever, but it's gonna be really good fun. And like stuff like the creator wrestlers really basic, but they can expand on that like really easily, even whether it be like paid DLC or whether it just be free stuff.
Well, a lot of stuff you can kind of see like there's the room for it to grow. Like when you're looking at the move sets and the like sort of like customizable items in Create a Wrestler, it says new and it says locked, and it's like, and they're both blank at the moment. Well, I say blank too.
Can I just add something as well? Like, as somebody who is very bad at games but enjoys playing games, when I picked up 2K, Matthew plays the 2K games, and when I picked up those, I was like, I am horrendous at this game, and it's like I'm never gonna get better. Whereas when I played this, I felt like I'm awful at it, but there's a chance that I might like actually have a chance of getting better.
Well, that's part of how they advertised it. They literally had Moxie there being like, look, I'm a boomer dad and I can pick up this game and have fun with it.
Yeah.
And like I don't need to learn like how to play it. I just pick it up and play, because it's like the games I played when I was a kid in the arcades.
Yeah.
And it's like, yep, that's absolutely it. You know, it's like I said, it's a little lacking in content. Like a lot of people have said, and I think it's fair. If you're not a massive AEW fan, like we were all going to buy it anyway because we're fucking marks. But if you're not a massive AEW fan, it's probably not quite worth 60 quid. Like maybe wait for it to go on sale because it probably will go on sale pretty quick because it's like one of them sort of double A sort of games, isn't it? Where it's like not quite big budget, like not
It's
quite.
already £40 on the Steam store, isn't it? £41.
Well, it's just some of us bought the Elite Edition so we could get Matt Hardy. Because you couldn't get it, you couldn't pre-order it on PC, so you had to just buy the expensive edition, like day one.
Oh, see, I'm gonna buy the season pass.
Oh, obviously, I've got the season pass, so I've got bald and hair. Already.
You get it with the Elite Edition, don't you?
Yeah. And yeah, I think Hookhausen,
Hookhausen,
Bunny and Keith Lee are the next duo coming in. Give me Swerve, you motherfuckers! Put Swerve in the game, and also let Swerve do like half the soundtrack.
Swerve's Swerve's got a few songs on there, hasn't he?
Yeah, but Max Caster's got a few as well. He's putting them on Spotify this week.
Because Swerve actually mentioned on his podcast with, I think it was the Adam Cole one. He said, "Oh yeah, I've got tons of songs in the games, but I don't know when I'm going to be in it yet." So which makes me think he's already scanned for it. Yeah. He's already took a shot. He just doesn't know
when it's gonna drop.
But can we just take a second to appreciate? And this is like for me, when you think about it, this is a huge deal. Like Eddie Kingston's in a video game, like a big budget video game. Eddie Kingston, the man who never should have got here, who never should be here. Like Eddie Kingston got no fucking business being here, and now he's in a fucking video game, and it's incredible.
And he's also the most fun characters to play. One of the most fun characters to play as well.
Though.
Remember when you said you told that story? Remember when he told that story about not quitting wrestling so that his nephew could like see him wrestle? Yeah, now his nephew can fucking play as him in a video game. How fucking cool is that?
I know.
Yeah, I think one thing that is cool about it as well, like when you think of the roster, is like on previous WWE games, like with the community creations, I'd be downloading half these people. On 2K23, I basically downloaded the Fight Forever roster to play as like when I'm just like fucking around on it. So now the fact that I've got a game where like it's fun.
You've got the move sets and stuff.
Yeah, and they're actually like they're actually made to look like them as opposed to being like a sort of
a monster.
Having the fix like imported in and it doesn't move properly.
Can I just say it's already been modded on PC, by the way. I saw someone edited one of the tattoos to just be Finn Balor's like demon paint.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That was so good.
Yeah.
My favorite character to play as though actually is Bryan Danielson.
I still haven't used him yet.
Oh, Jay, get on that. It's really fun.
Killing amateurs.
Yeah. Me and Matthew. Our first thing was to go on the training and use CM Punk as someone to train moves on, which was a lot of fun. Which is what everyone should do.
Punk was who I lost with, to be fair.
Oh, no.
Who did I beat you with?
Yes.
Was it Mox?
No, I don't think it was Mox. I beat you with Mox, and you had Chuck Taylor.
Mox with Chucky T.
It was Penta.
It was Penta, yeah. You got
because we basically the first one we picked people, and then after that we were just random in it.
Yeah, that's right.
Just why it was Chuck Taylor versus Mox.
But yeah, so I think the official, if anyone is after the official Untitled Wrestling podcast opinion on Fight Forever, I think it's, if you love AEW and you've got a load of mates that you have around your house and you want to play some old school wrestling, it's definitely worth a pick up. If you're obsessed with like the creative details, like from the WWE games, I'd say probably give it a little bit of a wait until it comes down in price or they release more stuff. But if you just want to pick it up and play and beat CM Punk up, which you should, and you don't mind, and you're a big AEW fan, you just want to be part of that like environment, I'd say it's probably worth a pick up. If you're not mad on AEW, maybe wait for it to come down in price.
Yeah, don't go into it expecting WWE 2K23, but totally different experiences.
But the career mode is a fucking fever dream, and it's incredible.
Oh yeah,
it's so good. It's the people. You guys are so different to what it's saying on Tumblr as well. Everyone's like, it's a dating sim. That's what everyone's saying.
Do you want to go and eat deep dish pizza with Sammy Guevara? Because you can.
I went and had tacos with Penta.
I mean, that's the win, really.
Yeah.
After being on private jet
with Malachi. That's what we need.
Not yet.
So like when you go to like each location, because it's like a year of Dynamite, you fly around the country, don't you? You can go to like the local restaurant and have like local cuisine, and it actually teaches you like what the local cuisine is. It comes up with like a little page saying in this city, this is like the famous dish, and this is what it is.
Do you go and eat Skyline chili with Marks?
No, that's just sadness, isn't it?
It's just no.
Those are just sandwiches.
I said to you, Faye, it reminds me like of Shenmue or something.
Yeah.
No, you know what? It's big like Yakuza energy, like a lot of the social things, isn't it?
I love Yakuza.
It just reminded me of Shenmue when I was doing like all the eating and shit like that. I wouldn't mind them like expanding on the road to elite mode a bit more as well, to be honest. Like like maybe add like a year here and there, because it doesn't really have that replayability.
Okay, I've got a bit of breaking news from Kenny Omega here. So he said, quote, Stadium Stampede mode, I'm very excited for, and I think people are going to have a lot of fun. It's something so incredibly unique. He also said, we're going to add bodies to the roster as well, custom parts for creative wrestler, all that stuff.
Good.
Nice.
Good guy, Kenny.
As you were saying before, I think it was before we start recording, Jay, it's mad that Kenny's just like, people are just tweeting about the game, and Kenny's just responding, oh yeah, we're gonna put that in, we're gonna try and put that in, we're gonna add that, we're gonna add that.
This is his baby, though.
Yeah, he said like one of the things that was like kind of important to him with it was it needs to be like something that he'd want to play himself. So obviously if he can like if he's seeing it and going, oh yeah, this doesn't have longevity, we need to do this, and this. Like I'm hoping Danhausen can feed people teeth. That's the thing I want.
I mean,
maybe that can be the cuisine you go and get with Danhausen.
There's little like nods as well. I mean, we will move on in a minute because we could talk about Fight Forever, like and the cool stuff, like the whole podcast. But we'll try and move it on.
We're probably going to be doing some streaming with it as well at some point.
We'll definitely be playing it at some point. I think me and you, we've got plans to do some sort of like online career thing, haven't we, Jay, or something? I'm sure we'll figure something out. But a couple of like really little neat touches. One, Orange Cassidy can actually put his hands in his pockets, and it changes his moveset.
Yeah, and it's a style. Well, it's called slot style, isn't it? It's like it's I'm trying to what the bloody thing called now. It's like a style, like the way in not to compare it too much to 2K23 games, but it's got like different like fighting styles. It's like that.
Yeah, and also MJF's like one of MJF's finishes is he just hits you with the ring.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which is
there's also that ability called gimmick infringement as well, where you can steal someone else's finisher, which I think is great.
Does Sting come out like a baseball bat and go, that's gimmick infringement?
That's the Stang. Heath Slater.
Does Tony Schiavone go scream "It's Stang" when you do that?
That's it, yeah.
Right, we'll move it on. So yeah, I mean, yeah, AEW Fight Forever. There's loads. We're talking about it loads on Discord. So if you want to talk about AEW Fight Forever, get on our Discord server. We're posting like mad like screen caps from it, where like we're talking about like funny things happening in matches. Pete's getting rolled up by Andrade for like forever, apparently. So yeah, it's really good fun. If you want to come and chat with us and maybe play against us, like yeah, hit us up on Discord. That's probably the place to do all that. Right, moving on then. Close to home, Faye, you've been watching the wrestling.
So much wrestling.
Wrestling never ends, TM.
It doesn't.
Tell us all about. So I'm so upset. So yesterday Wrestle Island was on. I couldn't go because I was invited to a friend's barbecue. And when I say invited, he made me promise to cook all the food, so I kind of had to go.
Wow.
Yeah, he was like, Ben, do you want to come to my barbecue? Also, will you cook all of the food on the barbecue? And I was like, yes, I will.
Oh my God.
So I made smoked chicken wings. They were fucking lovely. But yeah, Wrestle Island, tell us all about it.
So we had some, there was a shit ton of matches, to be honest. So I'm going to start off
at Wrestle Island. Never.
I know. I'm looking at the card now, and I'm like, oh my God.
Peter's like the Tony Khan of the Northwest. He just has no restraint when it comes to booking cards, and I fucking love it.
It's so good. We kicked off with Dan Evans and El Guapo. What's his? Carlos. Yeah. They had. Oh no, we didn't start off with that match, but I'm going to talk about that match anyway. We had a great match of where they just knocked 7 bells out of each other. It was really good because last time they didn't. They got their match cut short.
Well, no, they went to time, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's time, didn't
And then the second
It
time,
felt like it was cut
Carlos
short.
was too cheap to get a flight over to fight Dan, so he didn't.
Don't get Dan started on that. He will.
I love that. Like,
He'll talk your ear off for ages.
Dan tried to cut like a heel promo by criticizing Ryanair, and like Eric just got him really cheered. Like last time, it was.
He came out to cheers this time. Not one
nice.
person called him princess.
That I would have called him princess if I was there.
I know.
But in an affectionate way because like, he likes that. Like literally, Dan called me like 2 days before that when I was asking him about that Wrestle Island match, and he was like, "That promo was basically our conversation." Like,
I love that.
he literally had that conversation with me on the phone. I went to Grego. This is a shoot, and he went, "Oh yeah, I've already had this conversation with Dan today." I went, "Yeah, he called me the other day and I had this conversation with me."
Amazing.
Fucking menace is our thing.
But it was interrupted by the evil Joelition and Terry, is it?
The evil League of Joes and Terry.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, they're really going at it at the minute, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, that Dan's tag partners with Joe Connors.
Not in Wrestle Island, though.
No, Wrestle Island's it's a different universe, mate. It's like the Marvel universe. It's fine.
Yes.
It's its own universe, apparently.
Yeah, because we've got 616 Pud, who's like wholesome and pure.
Because Pud isn't a little shit.
He's the only non. I thought that like that infamous Pud was like the singularity, but it's not. It's Wrestle Island Sweet Pud.
Yeah, I prefer Bastard Pud because
me too.
Me and him have more in common.
He did throw up the VGSVs to Matthew though as he walked past.
He knows. He knows.
So yeah, my favourite match though was the tag team gauntlet. And we had a wonderful showing of first it starts off with the Rizonite Express.
Nice. That being obviously the team of Pud and Polish Barry, the two best boys.
It was Minoru Rizuki. Because Pud came out with a towel on his head.
Oh, amazing.
Pud sees just one Suzuki and now he's becoming him.
Yeah, that's it.
Like, I am strong style.
Yeah, that's it. Strong style Pud now.
Yeah, the Grand Pud.
Love that. It's even better. And at first, it was a eliminator match. So it was once you were pinned, you were out, and then the winner stays on.
Like a gauntlet sort of thing, or?
So, yeah. So it was Rizonite Express versus Aitonsteen and Jenna. And they basically got to Aitonsteen and Jenna got out because the creepypasta came out and cost them the win.
I know you guys said creepypasta, but that's made you think of creepypasta.
Creepypasta, yeah.
Straight away.
That would be a great name for their stable, to be fair.
Straight away, I was just thinking of Ben Drowned. Fucking deep cut for you.
Yeah.
Well, we all spend too much time on the internet. I think it's safe to say.
We do.
We are two online here at the Untitled Wrestling Podcast.
Children of the internet, that's us.
Didn't have that down on things I'll be referencing on the podcast this week, I'll be honest with you folks.
I love it when that happens though, because then you're like, what the fuck? And then we got EJ Walsh and he comes out in the Power Ranger gear and
not Sean Only.
No, it's not Sean Only now. He was in a different match actually.
He was in a different match, wasn't he?
Yeah. We'll talk about that in a minute actually, because that was also
Riley.
Yeah. When I spoke to him before, yeah, so do I.
Riley's really good.
When I spoke to him before the match, like before everyone was coming in. I was like, "Oh, how are you today?" He was like, "Not good." I was like, "Why?" He went, "Because I'm here." I was like, "Wow, okay." Just keeping kayfabe all the time. They eliminated Pud and Barry to everybody's
Oh,
ultimate sadness. And then we had no, wait there, no, they didn't. They eliminated them, and then what's this? Driller eliminated Pud. We all thought he was going to come out with no one. And he came up with his big friend, and I can't remember his name.
Drill, not Driller.
Oh,
Not Dan Maloney.
No, I said
No,
Driller because he uses the Driller killer.
He's too busy criming people in Japan at the moment. Is Driller? Actually, I think he's back over now. No, he's not. He's wrestling in Japan today.
Oh, nice.
Ignore the tag titles.
Yeah, right.
What's his name? The big guy that came up with that murdered Barry last time.
Oh shit, yeah, I can't remember, but he was great because he just did crime on everybody.
Yeah. So Drill eliminated Pud, but then we got Dark Fruit's daddy and Ben Kingsley.
Yeah.
Against...
Have you seen Dark Fruit's daddy's new T-shirt? It's fucking incredible.
No, I haven't. He just looked. They came out like super hot from the start. It was so good. It was just big walls falling into each other, and I was sad that you weren't there to witness it.
Oh, I'll see it on YouTube.
It was so good, honestly. So then we got after that, they got eliminated, and then we got Act 2.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Act 2. After getting
which is mad because Act 2 are like literally
Yeah.
small children compared to
they're just small twigs, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like they're the skinniest people ever. And they were super over though. It was so good. And they managed to overcome Ben Kingsley and Dark Fruit's daddy, who was
the East Mids
Grant.
Breakers.
Yeah. Is that what they're called?
David Grant.
David Grant, yeah, that's it. And then we got Joseph Connors and Terry Izzet. And oh my God, it was like
Evil Joe featuring Terry.
Yeah. It was Evil Joe featuring Terry, and it was really heartbreaking because like there was bits where like they cut off the ring really well. And you just felt sorry for like Jack and Ben because they were just getting crimed by
Kingsley and Grant are like I know they're like a little bit bigger, but their style's like very FTR-y. They're like the veterans, aren't they? They're like the sort of.
They did a big rig. It was fantastic.
Oh, nice! Oh, awesome!
Yeah. It was so good.
My favorite thing about them is like Kingsley comes out with like the big hammer, doesn't he? Sometimes.
Yeah.
So the other guy comes out with one, but it's like a mini keg of dark fruits on the end of a stick.
Love that. I can't wait for him to show up in the Atomic as well.
Yeah, we need both these Miss Breakers in the Atomic. Well, we're getting. I mean, I don't want to derail it too much. We're getting Quintessential, probably versus Act 2 at the next show.
That's going to be amazing.
Yeah. I have some breaking news about Quintessential, by the way, over here.
Go on.
Appears that Christie's dog has hay fever.
Oh no!
I mean, yeah, it's a lovely dog. I've seen the dog.
And it's also he's also
on the podcast.
He's also licked a sore spot on one of his legs, so they've had to put like a little bit of tape around it, so it looks like he's wearing an elbow pad.
They've done that on purpose.
So yeah, please get well soon, Christie's dog. Please do. We hope you.
What is Christie's dog called, Joe?
I can't remember. I apologize, Quintessential.
I'll tell you now.
He was on the fantasy book for a brief moment.
Alfie.
And then as soon as we started, ran up. There we go, Alfie.
Alfie, get well soon, Alfie.
We love you, Alfie. But yeah, so Joseph Connors got a low blow on Act 2, and they won, and they have won the tag belts.
Oh, was that for the belt? Was it? Yeah.
It was the gauntlet, so I think they've won it now. Unless
the gauntlet for the gold.
Yeah. I can't really think of of any other tag teams in Wrestle Island if they were other than VGS. If they were to do that, to be honest.
Because I'm sure I remember the first show we went to like a year ago. I'm sure they said they were doing a tag tournament, and then it just like got forgotten about.
Yeah. Well, I thought that was like with Act Two and stuff like that. Like I thought they were like
Wasn't it like
they were the belt.
didn't you ask me like 3 months ago? Like, I thought Act Two were the tag champions. Like, no, they were like the future tag champions, and like from
But
another
they
promotion.
came out with belts though,
But
were they just from a different?
they just came out with another promotion's belts. I'm like, it was like, yeah, this
Very
is fun.
confusing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we had Mad Dog coming
Yeah,
out, which was lovely because he got a massive pop.
Surprise, Mad Dog.
But he said before the four-way match that he's been given the control to make a few adjustments to the card. So instead of Harley Hudson in the match where it was Joe Kessler, Big Van Wesker, and Sean Only, we got Conor Klein. It was very good.
Nice.
Instead of Harley Hudson. For no reason at all. You don't need to worry about it.
Fair.
But yeah, we had
I think the tag team gauntlet was to get them into the final of the
was
tag
it?
team.
So they're gonna have a different one because
they're doing another tag team thing.
Well, that's interesting.
Ah,
okay.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
What was
Doesn't say anything about being for the belts.
Yeah, I thought it was for the belts, to be honest. It won't be a minute. My computer is just loading up this card wrong. And can you just talk amongst yourselves for us? Okay.
Yeah. It didn't say it was for.
Yeah, they haven't put anything about titles on Twitter on it, and so I'm going to assume it was just like a qualifying thing.
It were just there. Yeah.
That's what I want to speak to you about, Faye. So they said there was motorway issues that stopped certain people getting to the show. One being Laura Kate, LK, one of the refs, and apparently some of the wrestlers couldn't make it.
So everybody that I can see on the card here was there.
Right.
Oh! I know it was Brian Aidenson.
Oh, yeah, he was
Brian
meant to have
Aidenson, wasn't there?
He was meant to have his like. Oh no, he was meant to be in the three-way, wasn't he? So who took his place in the 6-man?
One of Man Like Banks's friends, Speed Mike or. Nice. Oh, I can't remember. Right. I can't remember. I know one.
Do you want to talk about this match next then? Because we're here. So yes. This was VGS versus Banks, Max Brooker, and friend of Banks.
Yes. So this match was, oh my God, it was very much like at first. Tommy accused Brian of dodging him, which was great. But basically, they it felt like a very much like let's murder Max and not let Warren Banks and Casey Payne near each other.
Right.
The first bit of it. Because
that's going to be the money match when it happens, and that's going to be the big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was like a lot of like Christy getting overpowered by not getting let to the corner by Warren and his friends, and Max getting murdered by Tommy, a lot of it. And then when Casey got in, all bets were off. Like
right.
Casey and Warren fucking went at it. Casey did his like double power bomb, power slam combo.
Oh yeah.
And then tried to do it again, and then was speared by Warren Banks while he was holding someone else up. It was
nice,
phenomenal. Yeah, it was so good.
So who won?
VGS.
Yes.
Because yeah, that's it. Because Warren and Casey fought to the back and just never returned.
Oh right, okay. Did Casey come back out as a really scouse Grim Reaper?
No, he came out for a very wholesome moment at the end though, which I will save. But yeah, VGS won. Max took the pin because he's a small boy.
Yeah.
Just tiny boy, and they are big lads.
Speaking of adorable boys, then tell me about Scott Open versus Tony Wright.
Oh my God. This match was so good. Tony Wright got absolutely battered. like in the best way.
I'm not just saying this. I'm not just saying this. She's a friend of a podcast, but there's a definite correlation between Scott Owen being on the card and Scott Owen having one of the best matches on the card. Like every time we see him,
I know it was mad.
He's very good.
Oh my God, there was a bit where like Tony was like tangled in the ropes like in front of us, and Scott was just like fucking chopping him in the back. And oh my God, the face on Tony Wright was like pure anguish.
I love how Scott's whole thing now is he just does crime like that. That's it.
That's literally it, you know. And like I once again was booing Scott because you weren't there, Jay. So I had to, as is tradition.
It is tradition. Yeah, I mean, remember when we interviewed him, Ben, and he was talking about watching like loads of Kings Road stuff?
Yeah.
So Scott Oman's just very quickly becoming Scouse Eddie Kingston.
That's literally it. That's honestly it. But yeah, and Tony stole the roll up though.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Oh, and I got the biggest hug off Tony when he came out, like high-fiving everyone at the end. It was so good. And then Scott said, he went to get the mic off Mad Dog went to give him the mic, and he went no, and just whispered in his ear and walked off because he just wasn't even bothering to talk on the mic to anyone. And Mad Dog said, well, that doesn't matter because he's going to catch in later. And it was like, everyone was like, oh. Because there was so many people with opportunities. I think that's what's really exciting at Wrestle Island at the minute.
Yeah. It feels like everyone's got like a claim to something, haven't they? Like there's lots going on, like lots of moving parts.
Point to prove, for sure. So then we had the women's match where surprise, surprise, that change that we didn't have to worry about earlier on definitely affected this match. Because Holly Hudson came out.
So this was supposed to be Tyler Adams defending against Lucy Sky and Lucia Lee, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. It was really weird because no one knew who to cheer for when Lucy and Tyler came out. They're both generally heels.
Yeah.
But then everyone started cheering when Lucy came out because Lucy's a babe. But when Holly came out, she was like, "You've been dodging me, you've been refusing me on a one-on-one. But you didn't say anything about a four-way." And then she was like, do you want to see me batter him? And everyone was like, yeah, because kids are feral. I don't care. Some of the things that the kids were coming out with.
It just gets it comes unglued at Wrestle Island. Those kids are fucking dangerous.
So we had a row behind us that I think had parents on either end, but none in the middle. So it was just kids. But what was great is that every time we started to chant, the kids behind us would copy. So like it was great because it just really got the wall of sound going.
I've heard worse things shouted at a Wrestle Island show from kids than I've heard at a TNT Deathmatch show.
No, that's true. But I went at the Ignition show last time. I heard a child just shout at Laura Austin, "Die, die, die!"
Jesus Christ!
Honestly, it was terrifying. Matthew's just said feral children.
Yes, absolutely. No lies.
Basically, it then just turned into who can beat Tyler up the most.
Fair, yeah.
Yeah.
It was so good. And then it was just a lot of like Tyler crawling out of the ring, everybody else wondering what to do, and then they just all started beating each other up. Then Tyler getting back in and getting back, just loads of shithousery basically. And again, stealing the win. He hit Harley with the belt.
Oh, okay.
And pinned her. But because it was a four-way.
No DQs, yeah.
No DQs.
Yes.
I love how their whole feud has been based around like disqualifications and sort of belt hitting and
shots.
Fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then Harley said, well, next time at Wrestle Island, you're gonna have to find two of your friends. Because the three of us are gonna have a 6-man tag.
What, so Lucia, Harley and Lucy versus Tyler and two people? Yeah. Oh, nice.
Lucy said that, it's bad enough that basically said, like, even though, like, you've made a joke of the women's division and we've worked so hard for it.
Yeah.
Which was like, oh, it was a big big no-no. I'm wondering who he's gonna get though. Because Shay Monet said a while ago, didn't she? That they wanted to go to Wrestle Island.
Oh yeah,
So
but Shaman is a face now, so it's fine.
In TNT.
Yeah. Get the United Queendom into Wrestle Island, and
oh my God, can't have Visage Wrestle Island.
Think of it,
God.
Joan.
Exactly.
Have Visage to a chair murder on Harley.
And Chase Alexander just for good measure.
Yeah. Right, next up, tell us all about. So we talked about the Evil League of Joes. Joey Hayes had a match, did he?
Joey Hayes had a match against Levi Muir. Muir? Is that how you say it? Muir.
Yeah. Class Levi
oh my
Muir.
God. Yeah, this was just like
Very good.
very, very like, like really heavy hitting. Because Levi Muir, when you say like someone could shred cheese on a man's abs, that is literally what he looks like. It's insane.
Like when Kenny came back, and it's just like, oh my God, he's sharp. Like,
yeah. Oh my God. But yeah, like Joey. To be fair, it was a lot of like intense like grappling, like, and even though like it was won by like shithousery with Joey, it was still very much like a Joey. Joey came out first, and everybody started getting really into his music. So it's like everyone forgot that he was a heel now. So he just had to start going, no, I don't want your claps. What do you want? And everyone looked really confused and then was going, boo.
Fair.
But it was really good. A lot of like technical grapples in this match, which was nice to see. Joey still proving that he had the upper hand a lot of the time. Like Levi was really confident, and that sometimes got the better of him.
Yeah.
But Joey won with a low blow, as is what he does now.
That's just the style all the time. Yeah.
Classic. Does he just do that everywhere he's heel?
Don't worry about it.
It's weird because he turned heel at Atomic, didn't he? The last Atomic show.
Yeah.
He's better as a heel, I think.
He turned heel at the last Wrestle Island.
No, he didn't turn heel. No, Leon Gray turned heel on Joey.
Yeah, made to last.
Turned heel on the models. Yeah. So what happened with the other match then? So there was meant to be Joe Kessler versus Wesker versus Harley versus Sean Only. So what became of that?
Sorry.
I made to last at that end of the show.
So he's just conferring with an expert. Being Matthew. Yeah. I'm so good that I missed the show, man. I love going to Wrestle Island. I can't wait for the next one starts September. I think September 2nd or 3rd. So anyone who's interested in a bit of we say it's family friendly. September 3rd. Anyone who says we say it's family friendly, but yeah, the kids are like off the chain. But yeah, if you want to get down some family friendly wrestling, the best sausage rolls you'll ever have, and like a really cheap like bar.
An affordable day out, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a really good affordable day out. It's just dead cheap to get there on the train. Tickets are really reasonable, like $10 a ticket for an adult. You know, they don't take the piss at the bar, like regular prices. It's not like £5-6 a pint or nothing like that. You can get a can of Coke for like $1.50. It's great. Get some sweets for the kids. They have like a little face painting and everything. It's like a school fete. It's like a day out for the kids, but there's wrestling there as well, and it's really, really good fun. All the wrestlers are there. You can talk to them afterwards. They're dead nice. Everyone there's proper lovely. Pete and Jody, who run it, are the nicest people. So yeah, absolutely show them some love and get down in September for it. September 3rd, I think, this Sunday. Faye, you back ready to talk about that next match?
Yes, Matthew has just informed me who it was that won that, because it's all a blur to me at the minute.
There we go. You have to consult an expert. It was fine.
I did. Matthew has advised me that Joe Kessler won that match, but it was more. Again, this was one of those matches where.
So did this just become a three-way? Did it with Harley going?
No,
it
became a four-way because it was Connor Klein.
Oh yeah, okay.
Connor Klein replaced Holly Hudson, and it felt like an entire match just full of heels.
Fair,
really,
yeah. I mean, Joe
And
Kessler's
Big
kind
Van
of a face,
Wesker.
right? Everyone likes Joe Kessler.
I'm gonna say Joe's a
He's a
face.
face, but like it had Sean Only in it as well as Connor Klein.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it
Wesker's
was
just
very
wants
much
to
like yeah. He's not really a heel though, but he is like a scary, scary man.
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely
So
fella, really nice
yeah.
fella.
Yeah. But it was very much like a let's see who can beat Sean Only. And
I mean, that's fair. If it's just everyone
Connor
wailing Sean
Klein.
Only, that's fine.
Yeah, we're all okay with that. He wasn't happy to be there. We weren't happy that he was there. Yeah, it was really good. I'm really sorry that this review is really poor. It's just honestly blended all into one.
It does happen. It's because it's such a long show and like so much happens. It's really easy to just forget the details. Right, we'll talk about the main event. We'll get straight to the main event. We'll wrap it up. Lance Archer, Lance Rivera. That would be the thing, wouldn't it? Lance Rivera versus RPD for the title. Take us on a journey thing. Take us to church.
Oh my God. So first, I've never heard RPD be booed ever.
No, it just doesn't happen.
Ever.
It's fake news.
I felt like I was in a dark. I felt like I was in a dark timeline because the room was like split in like a clear 50-50. And it was really funny because it was one side of the room and the other.
Really? Wow.
And our side was like the RPD side because I was just
RPD had packed all the family on one side of the room.
Yeah. But yeah, it came out like where it was very much like Lance was very much like wrestling his like super kicks, like stuff like that style. But it just kept going. It just kept going to like that thing, not where it was like near falls with pins, but very much like who can best the other, and it lasted. Felt like it went so quick, but when a match went a while.
Yeah.
And it was they had each other in submissions, like rolling around in leg locks.
Yeah.
There was a gorgeous moment where they both did like a neck breaker to each other, or like a cutter, but like at the same time. And it just made for a really stunning visual. I've got a photo here that I will show to you both, because I'm very proud of it. But yeah, it was very much like a who can hit each other harder, and Lance very much trying not to wrestle RPD style. He was trying to make RPD be quicker, and RPD was having none of it. Lance was dodging the Superman punch for pretty much the whole match. Here's the leg locks.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
And that went on for about 3 minutes.
So tell us about the ending. Tell us about the finish.
About the finish. Well, the first, towards the end, Scott Oberman came out with what he calls a briefcase, which just feels like a handle.
What was once a briefcase?
Yeah, so he came out and everyone was like, and then Lance sat on the rope, was like, come on then, get him. And then Joe Kessler came out from the backstage, like through the aisle, and just stared him down. And Scott went back in, and it was like, oh. And this is where the finish happened. So like Lance super kicked RPD. And tried to do his I can't even remember what his other finisher is. Do you know what it is, Tasty?
What, the one to the top rope?
What move it is? Yeah.
Is it like a moonsault or something? Or?
Yeah. So RPD moved out the way of that, and then Lance dodged one Superman punch and turned around, and RPD hit the other one.
Oh damn!
And it was over for the 1, 2, 3.
Just one Superman punch.
Just one Superman punch that he'd been dodging all match. And oh my God, the place absolutely erupted. And it was just like RPD shook his hand, and every kid in the world got in the ring.
Oh, nice.
It was really good. I feel like I gave a terrible review of what was a truly astounding match.
It sounded really
I
thin.
really
Like I
did,
said,
but
if you missed it, keep an eye on Wrestle Island social media. They tend to put the shows on YouTube a little bit after they happen.
yeah,
You will be able to watch
they
it.
will make it look better than what I did, by the way. And also, if you get VIP now, they do training matches
Oh
where
yeah.
they let the trainees come out, and their VIP match was great. It was between Jester and some lad called Josh Gallagher, who's from Crosby. He was very
nice.
good. But yeah, there was so much that like my eyes are like, yeah, it was a lot, and it was fantastic. And I'm sad that you guys weren't there.
Yeah,
because-
next time. So next show is the 3rd of September, Sunday the 3rd of September. We'll be there for
Yeah.
that, absolutely. Yeah, which I was while you were chatting to Matthew, I sort of ran it down and said, yeah, obviously, if you want a really nice family-friendly day out with wrestling, bring the kids, not too expensive, get yourself down there. It's super fun. Please do. Right, to the other end of the scale then. That's not the only wrestling that happened in the UK over the weekend. We also had the small
Should we
matter
talk
of...
about the more expensive one?
Yeah, the slightly one that maybe you might not get a £2 sausage roll at the O2.
Oh, I hope they do.
Money in the Bank 2023 took place at the O2 in London. Not Wembley Stadium. We ain't going there. Not yet.
Mhm.
But yeah, we'll just run this down pretty quick if we can. Only 7 matches on the card.
It was a pretty fun show, to be fair.
Yeah, from what I saw, I mean, I don't tend to fuck with WWE, but like it seemed alright. Like it seemed fine.
It was good. I watched it too. I did enjoy it as far as WWE shows keeping my attention went.
Yeah, it opened with the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. So you had Logan Paul, Ricochet, Shinsuke Nakamura, LA Knight, Santos Escobar, Butch, and Damian Priest.
And LA Knight won, right? Because that's what everyone wanted.
Oh yeah. Except he didn't. Damian Priest chokeslammed him off. I feel like this has got a little bit of like unfair flack for Damian Priest because he's been putting the work in. Whenever I've seen him wrestle this year, he's been fantastic.
Yeah, it's the issue of like being like not the one the fans want. Like it doesn't matter how good you are. If you know what everyone wants, then you kind of get shot on a bit, don't you? So
yeah, I think as well it made more sense for them to put a heel as the Money in the Bank because LA Knight's like a tweener, but he's like a cool heel that people like. Whereas Damian Priest, because he's part of Judgment Day, everyone fucking hates him. And yeah, he got a lot of heat. The finish was pretty cool. He did a broken arrow off the ladder onto LA Knight. There was a real
Logan Paul shit a lot.
Oh fucking hell! Like there was.
I saw the Spanish Fly that looked like fucking crime.
Yeah, where Logan tried to flip before Ricochet had like actually got his footing.
Yeah.
So they both just landed on the head on the table.
They both went kind of like face first through the table.
Yeah, Logan Paul cut his shoulder as well. Apparently they're both okay. Thankfully, could have been a lot worse given the way that especially Ricochet landed. But yeah, I thought it was a really fun match. Everyone looked pretty good in it.
Yeah, fair.
There's obviously the big moonsault spot as well from Pete Dunne off the ladder.
So next up, it was Women's Tag Team Championship. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, the defending champions. Now, I want to talk about this because, and we've spoken about this off camera. So Shayna Baszler, as well as being my absolute bae, she is a mad Warhammer fan. She dresses up in Space Marine colours quite a lot. She's done like Dark Angels, Blood Angels, Imperial Fists, yada, various ones. So she came out to this match dressed as one of the sons of Horus. Now, if you know anything about Warhammer, Horus was the guy who did a betray on the Emperor and started the Galactic Civil War.
I like that.
So Shayna comes out in Sons of Horus colours, and it's like she's going to turn on Ronda, and literally she turned on Ronda. And then she literally tweeted after the match, like the galaxy burn, which is like one of the really famous lines from the Horus Heresy. So yeah, I love you, Shayna. You're a massive nerd. Keep doing it, please, forever. It's great.
On Up, Down, Down, she does a lot of her Warhammer playthroughs of games.
Yeah,
she did a bit of the VR of the Sisters of Battle game, which looked fun.
One time when they all came to the UK as well, she went to Warhammer World of Sorrow as well.
Yeah, Swiss big Warhammer nerds. Apparently so Shayna doing a betray on Ronda because they'd only just won the tag titles. Apparently Ronda's contract expiring soon.
Yeah, apparently Ronda's out, isn't she?
And she has an out by a certain date, and they wanted to get this feud like over with. So they're basically like panicking to get it done by SummerSlam. After this we got Gunther versus Matt Riddle, IC title. This was fine. They've had better matches.
Didn't go very long, 7.5 minutes.
No, the whole thing was like going into this match was that Riddle had like an injured ankle from Gunther just criming him, which he proceeded to do for the finish. He basically chopped his ankle repeatedly and then got him in a heel hook, and Riddle just tapped immediately. These two have had much better matches before WWE. But it wasn't bad. After the match, Drew McIntyre made his return.
Yes, that was the big thing, wasn't it?
And it looks like we're getting Drew versus Gunther at the Summerfest, which, yes, please.
That's Sheamus noises.
Little
Banger
tunes.
after banger after banger.
After banger after
Don't need
banger.
that. That away.
Yeah, I think the Gunther and Drew will be pretty fun though. Next we got Cody and Dominic.
Poor Dom Dom.
This was a match that happened.
Of all the matches of the year, this was one of them.
This was a match that happened this year. It was fine. Dominic was being a shit. I was getting loads of heat. Rhea was basically distracting Cody every chance she got.
But why doesn't Cody simply finish the story?
Well, he finished this story by
he finished a story.
Yeah, hitting a Cody cutter and a crossroads. Picked a quick win. Didn't go long at all. But it was for what it was. It was fun.
Didn't go long.
Yeah, for what it was fun. It just wasn't very. If it had gone any longer, I would have been pissed off. Let's put it that way.
I mean, it was 8.5 minutes. It wasn't massively long.
Yeah.
The only two matches that were only one singles. No, only the two Money in the Bank matches and the main event went over 50 minutes on the show.
Yeah, which, I mean, you know what? They'd go over 15 minutes. John Cena promising us things that'll never happen.
So John Cena came out, cut a promo, said they should have WrestleMania in the UK. WWE people from WWE have already come out and said, yeah, that's probably not going to happen.
Well, apparently John Cena didn't clear this with Triple H. He just came out.
He was fuming about it in the press conference, wasn't he?
Because that's all he got asked in the press conference was when are we going to have WrestleMania?
Well, here's the thing. Cena, first of all, spoke absolute gospel truth. Let's not beat around the bush there. Like, Cena did speak the truth. However, WWE had basically put a survey out to people who went to the show saying, what city would you like to see a WWE pay-per-view in, i.e. the Royal Rumble or SummerSlam?
Yeah.
And the cities listed were Glasgow, Birmingham, London, and Manchester. So then Cena comes out. No, Liverpool. There's nowhere really the only.
I'm just being facetious.
I was just saying the only stadium really they could do it at is Anfield, and the traffic to there is fucking horrendous. So
yeah.
Whereas in Manchester they've got Old Trafford and the City and Manchester Stadium both outside of the city itself.
Yeah.
You could do it on you could do it in the bitter zone.
Mate, no. I saw that ground on Saturday. It's not even fucking close to finished.
No, fair.
By the time that's finished, we might actually have had a WrestleMania in England.
Roman might have dropped the belt. Maybe.
Nah, probably not. We'll get to that in a bit. Essentially, Cena went into business for himself, promised us WrestleMania when he had no right to. Grayson Waller come out and then basically was like, "Oh yeah, well, WrestleMania in Australia," being a shithead heel.
Because what makes anything better? Grayson Waller.
Yeah. To be fair, I quite like Grayson Waller. I enjoy the didgeridoo dickhead. Even if he did play a part in killing the NXT podcast.
Fuck you, Grayson Waller.
It's usual shit, innit? WWE saying stuff. It's not going to happen. They always dangle the carrot at WrestleMania in England when they're over. Never do fuck all about Then we got women's Money in the Bank match. This was really fun.
I liked
I'm
how
just gonna-
Bailey was introduced as being part of the Judgment Day at the start of this match.
Yeah,
Did you
like
see the
what the
tweet she
hell?
put out?
No.
It was a picture of Io Sky and Damian Priest with the briefcases, and she said, "I love it that both my teammates won."
I love that.
Yeah, so this was a weird match at first because there's Becky feuding with Zoe Stark and Trish, and then there's Io and Bailey and Zelina Vega who were also there. So it was like the two teams was double teaming like someone else. After a little while, they did tease Bailey and Io having a bit of dissension. Bailey actually pushed the ladder over when Io was about to win.
So maybe Bailey has joined the Judgment Day. You just don't know about it.
Well, yeah.
Can we talk about every time Bailey's over here, they do the "Hey Bailey" chant, and it might be my favorite wrestling chant ever.
Yeah, I've been a part of that twice. It's great.
It's so good.
I love the fact that she grinned and then she was like, "Shut up." Yeah, so partway through the match, Trish and Zoe Stark tried to handcuff Becky to the top rope. This played a part in the finish, which I thought was really inventive, really good finish. Where Bailey and Becky were both like climbing the ladder, and Io handcuffed them together halfway up the ladder.
In between the ladder,
yeah.
And
before that as well, Becky took the handcuffs and like fish hook
Bailey with it.
Yeah, which was really cool.
That was grim. That.
So like Bailey using the handcuffs on Becky was like her own downfall, which was really quite nice.
Yeah. And
then Io literally climbed over Bailey.
Yeah,
literally climbed
and
over.
Then I love like the final shot was like Io on top of the ladder with the briefcase celebrating, and then Bailey and Becky just looking like really fed up, like handcuffed to each other in between the ladder.
Did you see the picture that was took like it was like must have been like a couple of seconds after where they would have like changed the shot. So Becky's just pulling like a face with her tongue sticking out, and then Bailey's just got this massive grin on her face. Great. But yeah, I thought it was a really fun match.
Special shout out to both Zelina's and Becky Lynch's gears, respectively.
Yeah.
Yes. And also just Io Sky for being great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Like she's fucking tremendous.
Next up then, we had the World Heavyweight Championship, Seth freaking Rollins versus, it wasn't the Damon, was it? It was just regular Finn.
No, it was just Angry Fergal.
Yeah.
It was good, but it wasn't my favourite match.
I thought was not good, I'll be honest with you. And the reason being was because one, it was really fucking short.
12 minutes.
Yeah. And it was weird because it was starting to get into like a good groove around the time it finished. So like Finn was like in control. He had Seth really on the back foot after like a little bit of back and forth. There was obviously a lot of callbacks to the SummerSlam match where Finn injured his shoulder.
Yeah.
And then Damian Priest came down with a briefcase and he just pulls a chair up at ringside and he sits there and he teased like doing the heist of the century. He teased him betraying Finn. And then Finn basically like gets Rollins up for like gets on the top rope, Rollins set up for the coup de grace, and then Priest stands up and like makes it look like he's gonna cash in. So then that distracts Finn.
Sorry, Jay, we have to call it the coup de grace because that's how everyone mispronounced it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, he misses the coup de grace, and then the way. So what was weird was Finn landed, but normally where he would have rolled through, he just was on his hands and knees waiting for Seth to curb stomp him. And Seth just hit it like from nowhere and then pinned him and then ran off while Balor and Priest argued. It was a bit of a weird finish.
I thought it was a bit strange too.
And it felt very abrupt, like something else, probably John Cena had run overtime. I feel like they might do a rematch of this or even the triple threat at SummerSlam.
Right.
I think it's a shame because I feel like we know that Finn and Rollins have got good chemistry together. They've had tremendous matches before.
Yeah.
Especially when Finn only had one arm. So yeah, I'm hoping they run it back and they give it a bit more time because it felt like it was starting to get good and then 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 they had Sammy and Kevin just basically putting over the main event, and then we got the Bloodline Civil War, which...
Can I just say something before we go into this? I don't get
Yes.
why Pretty Deadly and Kevin and Sammy weren't on this pay-per-view and they were on SmackDown. I would have liked to have seen that
Because John Cena had to have his 20-minute promo.
on the pay-per-view.
I think that they were basically, because they were doing 2 nights in London, they were trying to stack the SmackDown as well to try and sell it, because they did the same thing when they did Puerto Rico for Backlash, where they put matches that everyone thought were going to be on the pay-per-view on the SmackDown before, because they'd done 2 nights to make it more appealing.
I genuinely thought that match was going to be on the pay-per-view, and I was really annoyed when I realised it wasn't.
Pretty Deadly, if they were on pay-per-view, though, would have had to have beat Kevin and Sammy. I think.
Really?
For me, I would have been pissed off if they didn't. But
of course you would have.
I'm a Pretty Deadly fanboy, so that's why. But yeah, main event, and it was the Usos versus Roman and Solo Sikoa. This is a storyline we've been somewhat critical about. I think we can kind of like acknowledge that it's, when it's good, it's really good, but at the same time, at times it can be a bit drawn out. I thought this was an example of when it was really good, because there was a lot of really, really clever callbacks to the previous matches with Jay and Roman, from like the start of Roman's title reign 3 years ago, believe it or not. And yeah, it just told a really good story. After when it looked like Roman was inevitably going to win again, Solo missed a dive through the announce table, and then the Usos double team Roman. They did a really good callback to where Roman pinned Jay, and when Jay kicked out, he low blowed Roman like Roman did to beat Jay in the previous match. And yeah, then the Usos hit like super kick party on Reigns.
And he said, Jay, "I loved you."
Yeah. And Jay hit the frog splash on Roman to become the first person to pin Roman since December 2019.
Since Baron Corbin?
Since Baron Corbin. Fun fact, though, and it was literally like done identically, the spot. Jay was the first person to pin Roman on main roster.
Yeah.
And literally did that spot where they did the super kicks and then Jay hit the frog splash on Roman.
Yeah.
So again, nice little bit of a callback. It looks like they're going to be doing Jey Uso and Roman again at SummerSlam.
I think I have a problem with that. That's okay.
But if Jimmy turns on Jay to help Roman win, then I'm going to scream so loud you'll hear it in space.
Yeah, I don't think they will. I think it'll be that Roman will just find a way to overcome him.
You think Jay ain't the guy?
Jay ain't him, sadly. Got to finish the story somehow, mate.
He ain't the one.
They are the ones.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, this match reminded me how good the Usos are as a tag team as well. Like,
yeah,
I think because they've been part of this storyline for such a long time, you kind of take for granted how good they are as a team.
Especially like a lot of their finishes.
See them wrestling as a team.
Yeah, and like a lot of their finishes, obviously, while they've been like in the bloodline, especially as of late, haven't been the cleanest.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
You got to see them wrestle a very different style in this match, didn't you? Which was nice. Going back to like, oh yeah, they can just do really good, like proper wrestling when they're not like doing like storyline cheating.
Yeah.
They've had 2 absolutely tremendous tag team matches in WWE this year. This and the Mania match. And I feel like this should be now like where once they do Jay and Roman again, get them away from the whole storyline.
Yes, please.
Have everyone kind of leave Roman on his own, so then Cody can beat him for the belt. The crowd fucking hated Roman here as well.
What you're saying is we need to like slowly slide Roman into the Codyverse.
Yeah. Just push him in with a stick.
What they need to do...
It's no longer the bloodline. He's in the Codyverse now. It's like...
What they need to do...
Cody beats Roman and then ends racism.
Yeah. What they need to do against for WrestleMania is they need to do Cody and Roman 2, have Gunther win the Royal Rumble, and have him fucking crying the living shit out of Seth Rollins at Mania. And that'll be fun. Because I feel like
everyone but me.
well, they need to get they need to get a heel champion, and Cody's going to be like the most fucking baby face of baby faces ever. So get it on Gunther, the big lad. But yeah, I thought this was a pretty good pay-per-view. When it was shit, it was really shit. I give it a 7 out of 10 though.
Oh, fair.
I give it a 7.5. Being generous.
Both Money in the Bank matches really fun. Main event was really good, if not a little bit too long for my liking.
Mm-hmm.
But it still told a fantastic story. And 2 title matches were there, as was Cody and Dominic.
Fair.
But
right.
yeah, when it was good, it was good.
Right. We'll very quickly run through some AEW. We'll just do. I haven't seen Rampage. I think we'll just do the two big ones if that's all right with everyone.
Yeah, the 2 important ones.
So Dynamite opened with Mox versus Ishii. Yeah, this was fucked. This absolutely fucked. It was great. Yeah, it was just them 2 beating the piss out of each other, and then Mox like murdering Ishii with a Death Rider, which was great.
This match was so good.
Shout out to Eddie coming out to just like look angrily at Claudio across the ring, and then Claudio to just look angrily back at him. For a bit.
As soon as Eddie got out, Claudio didn't take his fucking eyes off him.
No,
it was so good, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then after that,
Renee
Renee's had enough of all this shit.
Yeah. I loved him just before that bit where Eddie was like, you know, why are you getting angry with me where Mox got in his face? He was like, you did it all by yourself. You don't need them. You don't need them.
And then Mox was like, I don't care if you're still upset over some 10-year-old Chikara shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Which is great. And then Renee was like, yeah, just fucking fix this. I've had enough.
Eddie looked like puppy dog.
Yeah, you made Renee mad. I hope you're happy with yourself. All of you. I hope you made Renee cry. I hope you're all very, very happy with yourselves. We also had MJF trying to become friends with Adam Cole, which was great.
Oh my God, this is one of my favorite things all week.
I love when MJF called Roddy generic white guy number 3.
He also said that he basically accused Cole of faking being sick, so he didn't have to fight Tom Lawler, which was funny. Which I thought of that. He got Cole a T-shirt which said it said better than you, baby. So it's like they're like sort of like it's like MJF font like better than you, and then it's Adam Cole font baby.
It's similar to the D&D baby shirt.
Yeah. So that was great.
You can just add Adam Cole to anything. And
you just put baby on the end of anything, and it's an Adam Cole shirt. Now it's great. So I hope we get some vignettes of like what they got up to on the weekend, like hanging out.
MJF keeps calling into Cole's
stream.
Yeah, he subbed him as well. He subbed him on Twitch.
3 months.
Subbed him for 3 months and then said, I'm going to get us some matching gear. I was like, Cole was like reading out and then just went, oh.
Next up, we got...
I hope he got banned.
We got fun random match. We got Orange Cassidy, Vikingo, Keith Lee versus Garcia, Menard, and Parker. This was fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Having like Keith Lee just stand there while like Vikingo and Orange Cassidy ping pong around him was like really good fun.
Danny Garcia dancing on top of Keith Lee.
Yes, as Keith Lee just like stands up, like rises up from the grave. That was incredible.
Keith Lee's like a ready-made meme, isn't he? Though.
Yeah.
Like his facial expressions.
And he finished off Menard with the BBC, which is absolutely fine. Don't Google that. Next we had first before we get into this next promo, I want to talk about Hangman's T-shirt, which you saw more of on Being the Elite this week.
I haven't watched BT yet, but you can tell me about it.
So he basically, you know how they've got the storyline on BT that like they bought loads of stupid shit because Matt said
like the upside down frozen yogurt stuff.
Yeah, so you couldn't really see Hangman's T-shirt on like you could see like it had loads of words on it, but you couldn't really see what it was on Dynamite. It was one of those ones off Facebook that was like never argue with a cowboy who was born in July who likes riding horses and eating big back ribs, or he'll buckshot Larry at you straight to hell.
I love that.
So yeah, it was incredible. He was like, yeah, he told us to buy stupid shit, so I was on Facebook and I saw this advert, so I just bought it, and now I've got to take it back because I can't afford it. And so yeah, it was incredible. So basically, they were calling out an open challenge, and Sarah was just like, "Oh, go see some jobbers, weren't it?" And it was because the Dark Order turned up. But
whoa,
it was heartbreaking.
It was.
It was like, oh no, this is not what I asked for. I was really happy, and then all of a sudden I was like,
there was so much emotion in this because, like, yeah, the Dark Order went like we accept, and Hangman was like, oh, you want to do like a 16, you want to do like a 12 man, a 10 man, you want to team up, yeah, it's cool. I'm like, no, we're gonna fight you because like we don't like you anymore. And Hangman was like, whoa, hang on, my friends just needed me, so
and the Bucks immediately left.
Yeah,
the
Bucks just fucked off and like left Hangman.
I mean, like without spoiling it for Faye, the Bucks were fucking cunts on BTE about it.
Yeah.
The Bucks were absolute pieces of garbage about it. Just goes into what I've got to say with the Bucks aren't very likable. And yeah, there was the line where Hangman said about babysitting them, and then Alex like stepped up to him and was just like, "Oh no, is that what you think we are? No, we're your friends." And it was just
we were your friends, yeah.
Yeah.
So strong emotions.
Strong emotions.
It felt like the anti version of like the Eliminator match from before he won the belt.
Oh, yeah, this is gone all the way around, hasn't it? It's the bad.
We're in
the bad times now. We're in the darkest timeline.
The thing is, though, the pop when like Hangman like fucks off the Young Bucks and reunites with the Dark Order when they inevitably turn on him again.
Yeah.
No.
So anyway,
why are you doing this?
Anyway, the next match we got was that match. It was Hangman and it was the Hung Bucks, which they're finally on BT as well. They're finally trying to match like, we're finally going to do Hung Bucks merch.
Yes.
He's like, I don't care what the network say, we're going to do Hung Bucks. And Nick was like, well, how am I going to tell my kids what Hung Bucks means? So yes, it was Hung Bucks versus Dark Order. This was like, again, big emotions. Like when Hangman came in and started throwing hands, it was like you could feel the weight of emotion here, couldn't you? This was like,
it was so long, like he was constantly tagging out, and like Matt looked more and more angry as it went on. Like
this was like almost as upsetting as that bit in Civil War when Cap and Iron Man start fighting each other.
Yeah.
And Uno slapped Hangman, and then he was just like,
slapped the taste out of his mouth.
Let's fucking go. Yeah,
and he got
Uno's
the pin.
Right, like,
the Bucks made him do the buckshot, didn't they? Like they hit the BT trigger and then they held him up for Hangman to hit the buckshot on Silver.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then DCC came out and did murder.
Well, afterwards, Hangman was trying to like see if Silver was okay, wasn't he? He was like sort of going over to him, making sure he was all right. And then the BCC attacked him from behind. And then as Hangman was like, there was that lovely shot, wasn't there? Hangman like reaching out through the ropes towards the Dark Order, and they just walked off
as they looked at him and then walked away.
Yeah.
And then he got murdered with a screwdriver.
Fuck Hangman. Fuck Hangman.
Hangman fucks. Hangman fucks.
Hangman fucks.
Little BTE callback for you there.
Then the big takeaway from this though is on July 19th we're getting Blood and Guts, BCC versus the Elite.
But Eddie Kingston won't be there because he's in the G1.
Yeah, he's got. No, he's in the G1. All right, that's fine, but he's wrestling evil.
Oh,
I know. But no, on that day he's wrestling evil. Like what an upsetting match to be having on the day you could be in Blood and Guts.
Everything is Eddie and Evil will be fun though.
It will. Next up then.
Just depends if Evil shows up.
We've done that. Jungle Boy Jack Perry comes out. Cuts a acceptable face heel promo.
He wore Christian's heel outfit.
He did.
Christian first turn heel.
He had his turtleneck, didn't he? Well, not quite the
evil
turtleneck.
Tan jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tan jacket. Yeah.
He made a reference to cashing fat checks and quote banging the hottest bitch in the entire place.
What the fuck, man? Couldn't even know those words.
No.
Kyle Fletcher's tweet in response to that was fantastic.
Yeah, it was.
Sad Dante noises.
Yeah, sad Dante noises. Jesus.
And then him and Hook had a bit of a fight, didn't they?
Yeah.
Well, they had
and the silly bollocks that followed was fantastic.
Oh yeah, when he was running and he like dived headfirst, he dived headfirst like the open car door, which was
Superman dived into the fucking car.
Yeah.
Right, I was thinking, because he like addressed Anna Jay.
Do
you think he's going to join JAS?
Or is Anna Jay just going to start accompanying him to the ring, maybe, and like just as like a heel, generic heel?
I could see him aligning himself with JAS.
If there's one thing AEW love doing, it's derailing a woman's storyline so they can put them with their real life partner.
Yeah,
but I could see them like having Jungle Boy like usurping Sammy, and then going into that Sammy role, and then
Oh,
face Sammy versus heel Jungle Boy.
face Sammy versus I'd be in for a bit of that.
And then we can have custody of Daniel Garcia match.
Yeah. They showed they played that clip from Rampage last week again, where everyone chanted Anthony Bones is gay, which is great.
Love
And
that.
and big respect to Harley as well for that, because she was really insane. And apparently she signed a full-time deal now with AEW, so that's real cool.
Yeah, I didn't realize she sang the party's theme about Uno.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was her because she looks completely different in the video.
She's got red hair in the video, hasn't she?
Yeah, she's also dating Zion Quinn from NXT.
Oh, right. And then the main event was Sting and Darby versus Jericho and Sammy. Fine match. It was real wild at one point. I mean, we'll just talk about the big spot, which was Sting going off a ladder through a table.
Yeah.
That was upsetting, wasn't it? The lightsaber battle with the bats was fun though.
That was good. Yeah, but afterwards, so Sting ate shit basically, because they set the ladder up. I'm like, nah, that ain't close enough, dog. That ain't gonna work.
And he just face planted on the edge of the table.
He landed again. He carried on this week's strong tradition of wrestlers going through tables face first. Apparently he was like, yeah, knocked a tooth out, cut myself, but it was fucking cool. I want to do it again. I was like, Sting, mate, calm down. I know you're hanging out with Darby now. Yeah. Sting's gonna die on Mount Everest, isn't he, with Darby?
Oh yeah. Sting's gonna be like mummified next to Darby at top of Mount Everest.
But the big
it's gonna be like the weirdest marker.
The big takeaway from this:
when you go up Mount Everest,
Sting tapped the Paymaker to the Scorpion Deathlock.
Yeah, I reckon we're getting a solo match.
I mean, if he hasn't had one yet since he came to AEW, and I think he probably doesn't want to do one. But I think if he only ever does one and it's against Jericho, I think that's fine.
Do it against Jericho. Do it in like a street fight where they can kind of like.
Just do a normal match. I mean,
they can hide it behind weapons then.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm sure they're clever guys. They'll figure out a way to make it work. Right, we'll move on to Collision real quick. So this was in Hamilton, Ontario.
Before we do, I just want to quickly shout out Claudio versus Commander because it was fantastic.
Oh, yes. It was very good.
I saw Commander coming off the top and Claudio was putting his soul out of his body. That looked excellent.
Claudio fucking hates luchadors.
I didn't realise that they both had the same teacher.
Oh, right.
I didn't. I missed that on commentary.
So next up then, Collision. MGF opened up the show with a match against a hand-picked opponent, which was a local jobber, Kip Morst. He beat him with the label lock real quick. Obviously.
Real quick.
Interesting thing. Kip Morst is calling himself Kip Morst, but that's what, like, they were like, oh, we're keeping his real identity, like, hidden.
Oh, right, okay.
Like, they said that, like, on the talent enhancement, like, Twitter. I don't know if you just follow that, but AEW have one where they talk about, like, the local.
Didn't they do a similar?
Oh, cool.
They did a similar thing with Action Andretti before they signed him.
Did they?
I think so.
Sure, they did. Yeah.
Next up, then, MJF was like, "Yeah, I'll defend this belt against anyone from anyone local jobbers, basically anyone born in Hamilton." So this big guy comes out and he's going to wrestle him, but Ethan Page pushes him out the way and he's like, "No, I'm from Hamilton." Ethan Page cuts a really
Nigel McGuinness is like, he's got a PhD in eating poutine.
He's got a PhD in poutine.
The big guy that came out.
So Ethan Page comes out and he cuts a really good face promo.
Ethan Page is a guy they need to push to the fucking moon. I've been saying it since they fucking signed him. The guy is incredibly talented.
And he's so good.
He's got like a long deal, hasn't he? So he's like,
he signed like a 5-year deal, like last year or something like that. So
this feels like it's the beginnings of something, like planting the seeds to see how we get on. It was a fucking awesome promo.
Yeah, and a really good match after that as well. Ethan had a really good show, an 11-minute match. MJF won obviously with he dragon screwed him, didn't he? He sort of like fucked his leg up and then dragon screwed him and then heat seeked him, which is kind of cheated a little bit.
The ego's edge, which I liked because like it made that feel like a massive deal.
Yeah.
I also like how MJF won with the label lock. And then with the dragon screw, like
I was about to say, I like that MJF's picking up like little tricks from everyone he wrestled. So like the ring was like a Regal reference, obviously, which wasn't quite who he'd wrestled, but
Next up, then, Dustin Rhodes versus Powerhouse Hobbs in the quarterfinal for the Owen Hart tournament. This went so hard. Like, I really was super impressed by this match. This was a lot. I thought
love Dustin Rhodes.
I thought this would be good, but I didn't think it'd be this good. This was superb. I think if I'm not mistaken, Dustin was the first person to kick out the Spinebuster.
That one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think I don't know how you're gonna do it, but please put gold on Dustin just once before he retires. Like,
just
please.
give him a belt.
I love him so much.
Give him a TNT title run. Fuck it. Everyone else gets one.
Again, like every time I like forget how good Dustin is, and then Dustin wrestles, and I'm like, holy fuck, he's amazing, and he does the crossroads so much better.
This match, two fucking low-key banger theme tunes as well.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed them. But yeah, so eventually it took QT Marshall interference to get Hobbs to win, but Hobbs did win indeed.
I love the new way they're shooting Hobbs' entrance.
Yeah.
Where it's like comes from behind him. It looks so fucking cool.
Next up then, Miro versus Anthony Henry. I mean, I love Anthony Henry. It's a shame he got destroyed by Miro, but hell, it made Miro look good, so, you know.
Anthony Henry didn't look like a slouch, though, in this match. He lost in
3 minutes, mate. Come on.
No, but he got like some good offense in, like with the kicks and that, where it was they basically like they did quite a good job on commentary of saying if that was against anyone but Miro, they'd be devastating.
They also said as well, like obviously Anthony Henry's more of a tag team guy, so he obviously was not used to singles competition as much. So yeah, that sort of explained it away. But yeah,
Anthony Henry's awesome.
Miro murdered him. Next up, Bang Bang Gang. The Guns are officially in Bullet Club Gold, which is lovely.
Guns up.
Yeah.
Top guns.
Guns.
Yeah. I just love these guys. Every time they cut a promo, every episode of Collision now needs to just give Juice and Jay a live mic and let them go.
Juice Robinson doesn't even need to have a live mic because he was literally just like pacing as soon as he started speaking and then getting angry at Tony. It's fucking great.
That's because he was wrestling Ricky.
Oh my god.
But yeah, so the end
for the second week running as well. Just a pitch for Tony Khan to release an 8 hours club shirt, please.
Yes, well rested club.
Well rested club.
Well rested club is a good one.
He did have bags under his eyes this week. He said he'd been celebrating beating Ricky last week.
So yeah, the big takeaway here was Jay and Juice challenged FTR for the tag titles. And then they said it really will be top guys out, guns up, which I really liked.
Jay alluded to Punk having the belt in the bag.
Yeah, it's goodie bag.
Well.
Love that.
I think we might be getting Jay White versus CM Punk at All In.
Happy for that.
Oh my god! Imagine.
I think that's where they're going with this.
We can all brew with a switchblade. It'll be fine.
Oh, it'd be so good.
This led straight into Ricky Starks versus Juice. Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was fun match.
It was fine. Nothing to write home about, but it was fun enough. Starks wins, so he sets up.
I preferred the first match they had.
I think you're right, Jay. Mm-hmm. I think they're setting up Starks v Punk in the final for Punk to turn.
I think Punk's gonna do a betray on Starks.
Because Punk's big enough Starks loads in the promos backstage, isn't he, and stuff like that.
Yeah, but also you've seen the way he's been looking at him after when Ricky's cutting a promo, and Punk's like glaring at him. It's like you're fucking gonna turn on him.
I think they're like building up like Punk's gonna get mad at Ricky for trying to take his spot or something, and like Ricky's trying to outshine him. He thinks his ego's getting in the way. Punk's ego gets in the way.
I think Ricky's gonna beat Punk in the finals of the Owen, and then Punk's gonna beat the shit out of him when he's celebrating.
Oh, that's a shout.
With the belt, he's gonna pull it out the bag. Hit him with it.
Say like, I don't need this.
Punk came out, but who cares? After the match, I want to talk more. Instead of talking about CM Punk, I want to talk about Chris Statlander versus Lady Frost because this was lovely.
Please.
I felt like they should have got more time.
Yeah, it went 8 minutes, which is kind of acceptable for a TV match. But yeah, I would have demanded a little bit extra on this. They're such good such a good pairing because they both got that gymnastics background. They're both like really like super athletic. They can both really fucking go. This was a really good pairing of two exceptionally good women's wrestlers, and they put on a really good match.
I feel like they might run this back down a lot, and if it feels like if she isn't already, Lady Frost probably signed.
Well, she's definitely sticking around, and she's been on Ring of Honor, now she's been on Collision, so she's been on both brands now, which is cool. So yeah, just keep her there.
I think she's been on an episode of Rampage as well.
Did she
Yes.
face Jade?
Yeah, I think she did. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Next up, Andrade wants his mask back. And then Malachi just
Oh,
appears on
this
him.
was so good.
Malachi just appears on him behind him. He was like, "Yo, tranquilo."
I love that. That was so good.
What I really liked about that was that Buddy and Brody had their masks on and Malachi didn't and was staring at Andrade's.
Yeah.
It was just so fucking menacing.
We NXT now.
Oh, remember the match they had in NXT? It was fucking banging.
Yeah, another one of them, please.
I might rewatch that after this. It was a little treat.
And then the main event, Roderick Strong versus Samoa Joe. Right, I'm gonna start straight up on this. I actually really enjoyed Punk on commentary for this match.
Punk's a great commentator. Punk's a really good commentator.
Because he's able to talk about what it means from his perspective, but he still puts the people in the ring over, which is really hard to do.
Yeah. But especially when he's not trying to just be CM Punk, when they just let him just go and just talk about a match and enjoy the match as well.
When he actually
enjoying watching it.
When you see his love of wrestling break out, that's really quite infectious. When he's being a sort of spicy bitch, it's not as fun.
I think that when he does eventually retire, he's probably going to stick around and be a commentator.
Yeah,
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, that'd be fine. This match was great though. First time they've fought each other in 19 years, and they beat the
17, wasn't it?
17. Sorry, they beat the fucking shit out of each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you like chops?
Do you like pain? Because this is a match for you. Yeah, it was just Joe hitting Roddy as hard as he could for like 15 minutes, and it was excellent.
Yeah, Roddy did crime Joe with a backbreaker at one point.
Yeah, that was excellent. But it sort of fucked his knee up as well because Joe landed on his knee. So,
yeah. They did a really good job though of protecting Roddy in this match, I thought. Obviously Joe kind of he choked out Roddy with a Kikina clutch.
Also, can we just talk about how great it is to hear the end of Heartbreak on AEW television, because it's fucking excellent.
Theme. It's such a good song.
I came on the brewery the other week when I was moving some kegs around, and I was almost throwing them over my head. I got that much fucking energy. It was great.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the end of Heartache, that's what cost Roddy the match, wasn't it? He went to do it to Joe, and Joe reversed it into the Kikina clutch. Yeah. And
tried to squeeze his head off.
Yeah. Tried to pop Roddy's head like a grape.
Roddy didn't tap though. He literally went out.
Oh, he fucking went.
Ref stopped,
he went to sleep. Yeah. And then Joe refused to break it for a long time while staring at Punk like a fucking psycho. And then he just fucking Emerald Frozen Roddy onto the chair for reasons. No, Joe never used that move ever, as far as I'm aware. Just decided to fucking crime Roddy. What was interesting was so Punk's checking on Roddy. Adam Cole comes out. Did you see the way Punk looked at Adam Cole?
Yeah. He looked like Adam Cole was fucking something under his shoe.
But also, I think that was more foreshadowing because obviously Cole is currently going after MJF for the title.
And Cole is the current holder of the Owen Hart tournament as well, don't forget.
Two things that Punk wants, MJF and the Owen Hart tournament.
And Adam Cole obviously has that previous history with Jay White as well.
Yeah. So yeah, that's interesting.
It is Bullet Club gold, that's all I'm saying.
Bang, bang, gang.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Punk was basically foreshadowing his next 3 feuds as a heel within this, with Ricky Starks, Cole. I think he'd get booed against Jay White because everyone fucking loves Jay White, don't they?
Yeah.
He's a heel, but he's a cool heel. And everyone,
it's the Bullet Club effect, though, isn't it?
Well, I don't know, because everyone fucking hates Juice because he's so fucking loud and abrasive. But I think that's why I like him, because he's loud and abrasive. But yeah, it was interesting that Punk was very, very trepidatious around Adam Cole, baby. I think.
Yeah, he looked
I think,
like it was a threat, like an actual threat, not like an inconvenience like Ricky.
Yeah, like they didn't even make eye contact or like come into contact, but Punk was just like glaring at him.
Yeah, Adam wasn't even aware really, like at all, like of like Punk's presence because he was too concerned with Roderick Strong.
Yeah. Be intrigued to see where that goes. As I say, I think they might be setting up the next couple of feuds for CM Punk there.
Right, we're a little long here, so we're gonna very quickly. But there's not a lot of news this week, so we're gonna blow through one or two stories. First up, we've got the biggest news story: Trench is no longer with AEW.
Can't believe this.
Heartbroken.
Can't believe you've done this. One thing that I would like to touch on, because it broke after we'd spoke about it on Fightful, so we didn't get a chance to speak about it at the time, is apparently Drew McIntyre was missed time off with injury. Obviously, there was a lot of kind of like talk with
his contract.
It potentially being contract disputes. According to Fightful, that wasn't necessarily the case, and that it was basically more like injury related, with him taking time off and just getting himself better.
Yeah.
So hope he's. I mean, he looked in fucking great shape when he came out.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of healing as well, Christopher Daniels specialized heal.
Yeah, it was on BTE. His eye's better. So that's good.
I like the spooky eye.
One thing, I think we'll end on. I can spin one story into another one here. So first of all, obviously Moxley will not be at Dynamite Live this week because he's at New Japan. But he's scheduled to appear, so he'll probably do something pre-recorded, maybe. So the reason Moxley isn't there is that he's at Strong Independence Day, which is over the 4th and 5th of July. Yeah, 2 dates. He's wrestling both nights. So we'll just run down the card for that as a little final thing.
So's Willow as well.
Yeah, well
actually, before we run that down, there was also some sad news. Darren Drozdov passed away.
Yes, he did. Yeah. We
very
thoughts with his friends and family, obviously. I know it's always sad. He was in his 50s?
Yeah, he was 54. Obviously, he had a horrific neck injury and was paralyzed.
It's tragic to lose anyone at that age, but it is important to note that he did manage to survive a number of years with what should have been almost life-ending injuries that he sustained like 20 odd years ago. So
yeah.
We're grateful for the time that he did have as well. And despite the hand he got dealt, he was always a really positive guy as well, really upbeat. He never let it get on top of him or anything like that. He was, every time you saw him, he was always taking like big smiles, taking pictures with fans, hanging out with other wrestlers. He seemed to, really make the best of like what he had to deal with, really, didn't he?
Yeah, if you get the chance to watch his Dark Side of the Ring episode that he's on, I believe it's the Brawl for one.
Yeah, that was excellent. He's really good in that.
He's really, really interesting fella. It's a shame that he didn't get to do more stuff like that, where he's just like a talking head. Obviously, it's difficult with the situation, but it's a shame he didn't get to do more stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right
then, to wrap it up, we'll do the Strong Independence Day card. So night one, which is going to be tonight, as well as you listen to this, might already be happening. Might be happening
tomorrow morning. That'll be tomorrow morning will be night 2 when this goes out.
So night 1 will already happen. So that will have been.
Well, you know what will be tonight when this comes out as well? GCW Backyard Wrestling, baby.
That's going to be back. Yeah, definitely. If you got Fight Plus, get on that. That's going to be hilarious. We've seen a few of them. They're fucking riots.
I'm working from home tomorrow, so I'm probably going to stay up and watch that.
I'm not. Tasty. Do you want to watch it with some beers at the weekend?
Yes, absolutely.
There we go.
So night 1 of
hey, would you like to join us with some beers at the weekend?
I would love to.
Strong Independence Day. So we've got the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship, TJP and Akira versus Driller and Clark Connors. That's going to be lovely.
Yeah.
Then we have the exciting Encounter Doomsday no DQ match. John Moxley and Homicide versus El Desperado and Jun Kasai.
There isn't going to be a night 2 because Junker Sai and John Moxley are in the same match together.
Yeah. For the Strong Openweight Tag Team Championship, Haruki Goto and Yoshihashi versus Alex Coughlin and Gabriel Kidd. You've got Eddie Kingston and Rocky Romero versus Kenta and Gato. You've got Tom Lawler versus Kasai Fujita. Lance Archer, Alex Zane, and Ryohei Oiwa versus JR Kratos, Jarrell Nelson, and Royce Isaacs. Bad Dude Tito versus the DKC. Willow Nightingale and Momo Kogo versus Julia and Thekla. So Willow Nightingale and Julia have called each other out, haven't they? So that's going to be an interesting match. See what
Julia
happens.
challenged Willow, yeah. Thekla is fucking phenomenal as well. Like I want that to lead to Willow versus Thekla if possible.
Then night 2, we've got for the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship, Kenta versus Eddie Kingston. Yes, please.
Yes.
A final death match, John Moxley versus El Desperado.
Yes, please.
Yeah, he was already like challenging him. Like he'd not long, obviously.
Challenged him with GCW, didn't he?
Yeah. So he'd like not long realised that Junker Sai was his tag team partner. He was like, well, if we both survive, I want this to happen. And it's like, fucking hell, Moxley, calm down.
Then we've got Haruki Goto and Yoshihashi defending the IWGP Tag Team Championships against Alex Coughlin and Gabriel Kidd. Alex Coughlin's having a fucking year, isn't he?
Yeah.
So wait, are they defending different belts, different nights against the same team?
So it's the Strong.
That's cool.
It's the Strong titles the first night, and the IWGP titles the second night against Coughlin and Kidd. Which Coughlin's having a fucking year. It's great. Next up, we've got that Strong Women's Championship match: Willow Nightingale versus Julia. Yes, please. That's going to fuck. Like, please make sure you watch that one.
That's got like legit got match of the year written all over it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just let them go 20 minutes and they'll fucking sort it out. It'll be fine.
Let them hit each other as hard as they physically can.
At this price point, he can hit. You got Hiroshi Tanahashi, Tomohiro Ishii in the DKC versus Filthy Tom Lawler, Jarrell Nelson, and Royce Isaacs. Lance Archer and Alex Zane versus Bad Dude Tito and Kosei Fujita. Driller and Clark Connors versus Yo and Rocky Romero. Driller working Rocky Romero, man. What a fucking time to be alive.
Driller's already done a crime on Yo as well, so
Yeah.
But it's good to see he's going to get him again.
That's fucking excellent. Homicide and Ryohei Oiwa versus TJP and Akira, and then JR Kratos versus Oscar Lube. So yeah, there you go. Real good cards.
Have you seen Oscar Lube?
No.
He's fucking huge.
Oh, nice. JR Kratos is not small.
Oh no, but he's like
not
just
a tiny man.
He's just like this gigantic German fella. Like he teamed with Speedball and Best of the Super Juniors. It was like, what the fuck's this guy doing here? He's not a Super Junior.
Nice. Right, yeah, that's going to do it for us then. We'll be back next week to talk about, what happened here, what happened to Backyard Wrestling, what happened in AEW, and all the news that you want. We'll bring it to you.
I'm not ready for Backyard Wrestling.
No one's ready for Backyard Wrestling.
Ryan is.
Who was Joey Janela? Who was Joey Janela going to set on fire? Probably himself.
Joey Janela's wrestling the guy Nasty Leroy wrestled at Backyard Wrestling 2. If you haven't seen Backyard Wrestling 2, you can go watch it. Me and Aaron watched it, so you don't have to.
Yeah, exactly. Right, we'll see you all next week. Stay safe, enjoy your wrestling. See you all real soon. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello, yes, Danhausen here. Danhausen has been summoned. You must love this podcast housing, the Untitled Wrestling Podcast housing.